All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something super interesting in the world of software engineering.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that, honestly, doesn't always get the attention it deserves.
Yeah, for sure.
It's experience.
Right.
And to really get into this, we're going to be looking at some research and interviews that were done by a company called Locum Integration.
Okay.
They basically connect businesses with really experienced engineers. They've got this awesome podcast called What's Next
Yeah.
that really digs into like all the trends that are shaping the industry.
I see.
And we're going to be pulling out some of the most interesting points for you.
All right. So, one of the things that really stood out to me was their take on crunch culture.
Oh, yeah.
That whole, that environment in software development where
Yeah.
everyone's working these crazy long hours,
Right.
like it's the only way to get things done.
Yeah, the pressure cooker. Got to get it done.
Exactly. And Locum, they specifically looked at the video game industry, which, as we know, is kind of notorious for that crunch culture.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And their findings, well, let's just say they might challenge some of the assumptions people have about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, crunch culture, we've all heard the stories, right?
Totally.
Like the all-nighters, the pizza and energy
Oh,
drink.
yeah, fueled by caffeine.
But what if I told you that, like, a team of engineers who are experienced could be more productive working a normal 40-hour week than a team of junior developers who are like, burning the midnight oil and working 60-plus hours?
It's a really interesting thought, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it this way. Junior developers, they're often still learning a lot of new concepts. They spend hours, sometimes days, troubleshooting, researching solutions.
Yeah, they're digging in the weeds.
Exactly. But a more experienced engineer, they might look at that same problem and instantly just know the solution.
Really?
Because they've encountered something similar in their years of experience.
Like they have this mental library built up.
Yeah, it's like they have this whole library of solutions from years of tackling these tough problems.
It's almost like those, like, aha moments, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it's not like they struggled for hours to get there. They just know.
It comes with time, with experience.
Right. It kind of makes you think, if you've ever been in a situation where you felt pressured to work crazy hours,
Yeah.
did it actually make you more productive?
Right. Was it actually better, or did it just lead to burnout?
Yeah, something to think about.
It is. It is. And this actually ties into another interesting point that Locum brings up, which is the difference between generations when it comes to work-life balance.
Right, for sure.
Older, more experienced engineers, a lot of them have families, right? Kids, maybe aging parents.
Yeah, more responsibilities outside of work.
Exactly. So it makes it harder for them to work those crazy long hours.
Makes sense.
Whereas younger engineers, they might not have those same commitments, so they're maybe more willing to put in that extra time.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to, climb the career ladder or make a name for themselves.
Exactly. There's this idea that they're hungrier.
Right, that whole thing.
But Locum is really cautioning against just assuming that young and hungry automatically means more productive,
Interesting, yeah.
because it's a misconception that can actually be harmful to companies in the long run.
How so?
Well, imagine a CEO who only wants to hire young engineers because they think they'll work harder and get better results.
Okay, I could see that.
But as we've seen, experience can often be that winning factor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It leads to faster, more effective solutions.
Right.
So undervaluing experience, it's a missed opportunity, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's funny you say that because I think Locum actually had an anecdote about a CEO who, like, admitted to always hiring younger engineers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he believed in that grind mentality.
Interesting.
But what if that grind actually leads to burnout and people leaving the company quickly?
Right. High turnover.
Exactly.
That's a great point. It really emphasizes that it's not just about how many hours someone works.
Right.
It's about the quality of those hours.
The knowledge.
Exactly. The expertise they bring to the table.
Right, because a seasoned engineer could solve a problem in a couple of hours. It might take a team of juniors, like days or even weeks to figure out.
Absolutely. That's a strong argument for experience.
Totally. It makes you think about how teams work when you have a mix of ages,
Yeah, for sure.
You could have situations where, like, the older engineers are the same age as the parents of the younger engineers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That has to create some interesting dynamics, right?
Absolutely. And Locum found that company culture is crucial in those situations.
I bet.
If there's a culture of respect where everyone feels valued regardless of their age, those mixed-age teams can do really well.
That makes sense.
You get the benefit of those new perspectives from the younger engineers combined with the deep experience of the older ones.
It's like the best of both worlds.
Exactly. But if there's any bias against older workers, or if they feel like their experience isn't valued, you're going to have tension, conflict, and that's ultimately going to hurt the team's performance.
Makes sense. So we've talked about crunch culture, the generational divide, the dynamics of teams with different ages. But the world of software engineering is always changing, right? What are some of the big trends that Locum is seeing out there?
Well, one of the biggest shifts is definitely the rise of remote work.
Oh, yeah?
It's become incredibly popular, and Locum actually argues that it's had a positive impact on both productivity and happiness for a lot of engineers.
That makes sense.
No more horrible commutes, more flexibility with schedules, and potentially a better work-life balance overall.
Oh, right. All right.
And with so many companies going remote, it opens up opportunities for engineers all over the world to collaborate.
That's true. It's not limited by location anymore.
Exactly. But of course, this new way of working also brings up questions about how teams communicate and stay connected when everyone's not in the same physical space.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge.
It is. And it actually brings us to another trend that Locum highlighted, the increasing role of AI tools in software development.
Oh, interesting.
These tools are getting more sophisticated all the time, and they're changing the skills that engineers need in some pretty fundamental ways.
Oh, wow. I'm actually really curious about this.
Yeah.
We've all heard about AI, but how is it actually impacting the day-to-day work of software engineers? Like, give me some specifics.
Okay, well, think about things like code generation and bug detection.
Okay, yeah.
We now have AI-powered assistants that can automate some of these tasks,
Wow.
which frees up engineers to focus on the more complex problems.
So instead of spending hours trying to figure out why a piece of code isn't working, an engineer can have an AI tool help them find the issue in seconds.
Exactly. It's like having an extra pair of hands, but these hands are powered by algorithms.
That's incredible. But does this mean that AI is eventually going to replace software engineers altogether?
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
And it's understandable to be concerned about that. But Locum's perspective is that AI is more likely to augment the work of engineers, not replace them entirely.
Okay, so it's like a tool to help them, not to take over.
Exactly. It's about shifting the focus towards those higher level skills, things like problem solving, system design, and critically evaluating what these AI tools are producing.
So it's not just about writing code anymore. It's about understanding how to use these powerful tools effectively and ethically.
Exactly. And this actually brings us back to the value of experience.
I was going to say, how does experience fit into this whole new world of AI-assisted software development?
Well, think about it. An experienced engineer has seen trends come and go, technologies rise and fall.
Right, they've seen it all.
Exactly. They have a deeper understanding of the core principles of software development, which aren't going to be disrupted by AI as easily.
Right, that makes sense.
And they can be the ones to mentor younger engineers on how to navigate this new landscape.
It's like having a guide in a constantly changing world.
Yeah, they know the terrain, they've seen the dangers, they can help you find the safest path forward.
And there's actually a unique opportunity happening right now as the first generation of software engineers starts to retire.
That's right.
A lot of those senior engineers are ready to maybe step back from working full-time,
Yeah.
but they have so much knowledge to share.
It's a goldmine of experience.
And companies can benefit from that by offering things like flexible work arrangements, part-time roles, maybe even creating mentorship programs where those senior engineers can pass on their knowledge.
It's a win-win situation. Senior engineers get to stay engaged, companies benefit from their expertise, and younger engineers get to learn from the best.
It's like having a direct line to the history of software development. But before we get too excited about this whole knowledge transfer thing, let's remember that experienced engineers bring more than just technical skills to the table.
Oh, absolutely.
They're mentors, problem solvers, and often they're the ones who keep the team functioning smoothly.
Yeah, they've seen it all. They know how to handle the inevitable challenges that come up in software development.
And they can provide guidance that's invaluable,
Yeah.
especially in a field as complex and constantly changing as software engineering.
Absolutely.
They're like the steady hand on the ship, guiding the team through rough waters.
I like that analogy.
And speaking of rough waters, are we even doing enough to prepare the next generation of engineers for this ever-changing landscape? It seems like there's so much to learn, and the pace of change is only getting faster.
That's a really important question, and it's something we're actually going to dive into deeper in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, okay, so stay tuned for that.
We'll explore how the education system is adapting to these new demands and talk more about the role of mentorship in shaping the next generation of software engineers.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
So, as we were wrapping up the last part, it kind of got me thinking.
Yeah.
We were talking about how much things are changing in software engineering.
Right, all the time.
And it made me think, what about all the people just starting out?
Yeah, the new grads.
Yeah. How are they supposed to gain experience when every job posting wants someone who's already,
Yeah.
been there, done that?
That's a great point. It's like a catch-22. You need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience.
Right.
It's a tricky cycle to break.
It is. And that's where I think mentorship becomes so important.
Absolutely.
We touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth emphasizing again,
Mhm.
just how crucial it is for experienced engineers to share what they know with the next generation.
Totally agree.
And it's not just about teaching them how to code, right?
Right.
It's about helping them develop those problem-solving skills.
Right, that mindset.
Yeah, to think critically, creatively, and approach those challenges with like a sense of curiosity and determination.
Give them the tools they need to figure things out.
It's like giving them a compass and a map to navigate this crazy world of software development.
I like that analogy.
But, mentorship alone probably isn't enough, right?
Probably not.
The education system itself has to adapt as well.
Definitely.
Are universities and coding boot camps really preparing students for what it's actually like to work in tech today?
That's a question worth asking.
Yeah. Are they teaching them about remote teams, about how to use AI ethically, how to keep up with all the new technologies that are constantly popping up?
Right, because those are essential skills these days.
They are. And it's not just about the technical stuff either.
Right.
We were talking earlier about soft skills,
Mhm.
things like communication, collaboration, problem solving.
Those are crucial.
They are. How do you think those are best developed?
Well, I think those soft skills, they're often learned best through actually doing the work, through real-world experience,
Okay, yeah,
working on challenging projects with diverse teams.
makes sense. So that brings us back to that question of how to bridge the gap between education and the real world.
Yeah, how do we get those new grads the experience they need?
Exactly. I'm thinking things like internships, apprenticeships, structured mentorship programs. Those could all play a part
They absolutely could.
in giving young engineers a chance to apply what they've learned in a real setting.
Right. And companies need to be willing to invest in developing that junior talent.
Yeah, for sure.
Create a culture of mentorship, continuous learning. Recognize that experience isn't something you just gain overnight.
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time, effort, and the right environment.
It's a two-way street, right? The individual has to be motivated to learn, and the company has to provide the opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, I want to go back to something we talked about before, the ethical implications of AI tools.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It is. It's fascinating to think about how these tools are kind of leveling the playing field.
In what way?
Well, they're allowing engineers to do things that used to require years of expertise.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Imagine like an AI assistant that can not only write basic code, but also find bugs and even suggest improvements.
That's pretty incredible.
Right. It's like having a superpowered partner, but this partner is all algorithms.
AI is becoming this, amazing tool that takes care of the tedious stuff, freeing up engineers to focus on the big picture, those complex problems.
Exactly. But it also brings up some pretty big questions.
Like what?
What happens when AI becomes so advanced that you don't need deep expertise in certain areas anymore?
I see.
What are the ethical implications of that? What about the people whose jobs might be affected?
Those are important questions.
They are.
Are we heading towards a world where software engineering is more about managing AI than writing code?
It's possible.
And what skills will be most important then?
Well, it definitely highlights the need for engineers to be adaptable,
Yeah.
to constantly be learning, evolving their skill set.
Right. It's not enough to be a master of one thing anymore.
Exactly. You need to be a quick learner, embrace new technologies, and stay ahead of the curve.
Like they say, the only constant is change.
And that's especially true in the tech world.
It is. And as we navigate all these changes, I think it's important to remember the human element of software engineering.
Couldn't agree more.
It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff, the algorithms, the code.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, software is made by people for people.
To solve human problems, meet human needs.
Exactly. And that requires things like empathy, creativity, that spark of human ingenuity that AI, at least for now, can't really replicate.
Right. It's like the difference between a meal made by a robot versus a meal made by a chef.
Oh, yeah.
The chef understands not just the ingredients and the techniques, but the flavor, the presentation.
There's a human touch.
Exactly. And that's where I think experience really comes in.
Makes sense.
Seasoned engineers, they've seen it all. They know how to create software that actually works for people.
They have that intuition.
Yeah, that ability to anticipate problems, find creative solutions, all because of their experience.
They understand the entire process of building software.
From beginning to end.
And they can teach junior engineers how to build things that are not just functional, but also scalable, stable, all of that.
It's invaluable knowledge.
Like having a master craftsman teaching you their secrets.
And in a field like software engineering, that kind of guidance is priceless.
I agree. So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We've talked about everything from crunch culture to AI.
But there's still more to come.
There is. In our final part, we'll explore some practical takeaways for both individuals and companies,
Okay.
looking at how to build a culture that truly values experience and encourages mentorship across generations.
Sounds good. We've explored the power of experience from all angles today.
From individual careers to the bigger picture of the industry as a whole.
Exactly. So what steps can our listeners take to really embrace the value of experience in their own work and in the tech world around them?
That's the question we'll be tackling next.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll wrap things up and leave you with some actionable steps you can take.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the value of experience in software engineering. And, we've talked about a lot.
We have, yeah.
All the challenges, the trends, even the ethical stuff with AI, it's a lot.
It really is.
But now I'm kind of curious, for all the leaders and managers listening out there,
Yeah.
how can you actually build a company culture that really embraces experience?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think it starts with really changing how we think about experienced engineers.
Okay, how so?
Well, instead of just seeing them as coders,
Right.
we need to recognize them as the incredible assets they are. They're mentors, they're problem solvers, they're strategic thinkers.
Yeah, often the ones keeping everything running smoothly.
Exactly. So it's not just about giving them a fancy title or a bigger office.
Yeah.
It's about actually incorporating their knowledge into the way decisions are made.
Make them feel valued.
Exactly. And, fostering mentorship,
Yeah,
that shouldn't be left to chance either.
it should be intentional.
It should be. Companies need to create structured mentorship programs.
Okay.
Pair up those junior devs with the seasoned pros, make it part of the company's DNA.
I get a priority.
Absolutely. And remember, mentorship benefits both sides.
Right, it's not just one way.
Exactly. The younger engineers bring fresh ideas, energy.
At new perspective.
Right. And the more experienced folks provide guidance, context. It's a win-win.
I like that. Like iron sharpens iron, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about knowledge transfer either.
It's about building those soft skills too.
Absolutely. The communication, the collaboration, learning how to navigate team dynamics, those are things you can't learn from a book.
You got to experience it.
You do.
Yeah.
So how else can companies show that they truly value experience?
Yeah, how do you make it tangible?
Well, compensation is obviously important,
Of course.
but it's not the whole story. Give experienced engineers opportunities to lead.
Okay.
Involve them in those big strategic decisions. Give them a voice in how projects are run, even in the overall direction of the company.
Make them feel like they're part of the decision-making process.
Exactly. Make sure they know their insights are not just heard, but actually sought after.
That makes a lot of sense. Show them they're valued for what they can contribute now,
Yeah.
not just for what they did in the past.
Right. And let's not forget about those senior engineers who might be thinking about retirement.
Yeah. What about them?
They have a wealth of knowledge that companies would be crazy to just let disappear.
It's a gold mine of experience just waiting to be tapped into.
It really is. Companies can offer things like flexible work arrangements, part-time consulting roles, even create a council of elders to give advice on important projects.
That's a really cool idea.
Right. It benefits everyone.
Yeah. Senior engineers stay engaged, companies get that valuable expertise.
And it shows everyone that experience is valued and respected, no matter your age or where you are in your career.
It's a great message to send.
It is. So if we zoom out a little,
Yeah. Look at the big picture.
what does all of this mean? Well, for individual engineers, it means recognizing that experience is a journey.
not a destination.
Exactly. It's about always pushing yourself, learning from mistakes, building that knowledge that will help you throughout your career.
Keep learning, keep growing.
Exactly. And for companies, it means creating a culture where everyone is learning, where different perspectives are valued, and where the power of experience is truly recognized.
Make it part of the company culture.
Yeah, embed it in everything you do. And, this brings up a really important question.
What's that?
How do we, as a society, ensure that the next generation of engineers is prepared for this crazy, always changing tech world?
Ooh, good question.
Are we doing enough to mentor them, give them those opportunities to learn by doing, and make sure our education systems are keeping up with what the industry actually needs?
Those are big questions to think about.
They are. But the future of software engineering might depend on how well we answer them.
That's a powerful statement.
It's true. And that wraps up our deep dive into the value of experience.
We've covered so much ground.
We have. Hopefully everyone listening has gained some new insights.
And food for thought.
And maybe even some inspiration to go out and make a difference.
Yeah, make the tech world a better place.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing your knowledge.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See ya.